I'd like to thank the members of the media for joining us today as we talk about the upcoming 514 Remembrance Weekend, May 12th, 13th, and 14th, and also as we talk about the activity of the 514 Memorial Commission. I want to thank SUNY trustee Eunice Lewin and president of Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield, Dr. Michael Edbauer, for serving as co-chairs of the 514 Remembrance Committee. I want to thank them for all of the work that they have done. I also want to thank our sponsors who have been so generous in helping to make the 514 Remembrance Weekend happen. One of our sponsoring organizations, the Buffalo Urban League, and its president and CEO, Thomas Buford, is here with us today, and want to thank you, Mr. Buford, for your support of these activities. I also want to thank Reverend Mark Blue, who is the chair of the 514 Memorial Commission. Governor Hochul and I, when we established the commission, we were looking for a trusted voice and trusted leader in our community to steer the work of developing a permanent fitting memorial to those whose lives were taken, and we could think of no better person than Pastor Blue. Also with us is Mo Sambundu, who is Governor Kathy Hochul's representative and liaison to the 514 Memorial Commission. The commission has been tasked with the awesome responsibility of developing a memorial. And to do that, they have been in close communication with the family members of those whose lives were taken, with survivors, with members of the community. I also want to thank Dennis Wilson, the graphic designer for the Memorial Commission's logo. In just a few days, we will reach the somber one-year anniversary of the racially motivated mass shooting at Tops on Jefferson Avenue. 10 precious lives were taken in this act of domestic terrorism by a white supremacist. In the months and weeks since the mass shooting, Buffalonians lifted each other up and supported each other in our grief. The acts of kindness and the acts of helping in many ways were amazing and have become a national model for resilience, the way the community came together here in Buffalo. As part of this extended support, the 514 Remembrance Committee is hosting a series of remembrance events starting this Friday and ending on Sunday. The first event is a panel discussion on Friday, May 12th, focusing on moving beyond hate. I want to thank the NFTA for donating ride passes for people who need transportation to the panel discussion at Roswell Park. These passes are available at local community centers. And all of the events for the Remembrance Weekend have been designed in such a way that all members of the community that would like to participate, that would like to be there, can be there. And we want to offer the community flexibility. Some might attend all of the events. Some might attend one event. Some might just want to quietly remember and reflect at home by themselves or with their families, and we understand that. This weekend will also feature a gathering for healing on Saturday at Johnny B. Wiley Sports Pavilion. It will feature prayer and a variety of healing related activities, uplifting activities for the community. And on Sunday, there will be a remembrance service at Tops on Jefferson Avenue, followed by bells ringing throughout the city of Buffalo. Now, Tops on Sunday, in respect for the families, will not be open, but there will be a very short healing service at the Tops to remember and to reflect. And then Sunday evening at 6 p.m., there will be a church service at Elam Christian Fellowship with a very special message from Reverend Dr. Jamal Bryant that will again be focused on healing and hope for the future. Again, I want to thank all of the members of the committees. I want to thank all of the sponsors. A lot of work has gone into all of these activities. People have spent an incredible amount of time making sure that the needs of the community are addressed. We know that people are in various different stages of healing from 5/14, and these events have been done in a way that is mindful of that, that will reach out to children in our community, K through 12, that will reach out to young adults, all the way through seniors in our community. Now it is my pleasure and honor to recognize Reverend Mark E. Blue, who is the chairman of the 5/14 Memorial Commission. Reverend Blue.
Good morning, and I want to thank the media, thank most of all our mayor and our governor for entrusting me with this awesome responsibility. I realize it is something that I cannot do on my own, nor will I do it on my own. The Memorial Commission, we have decided that we need community input in everything that we do. So we will have community forums in which individuals will have an opportunity to participate. We also have a website that we're launching today, the 514memorial.com, where you can get other access to information as to what is going on with our committee. I want to share with you that we will be having surveys that will be dispersed throughout the community. UBRI, University of Buffalo Regional Institute, has partnered with us to help get our surveys out so we can make sure that we address the needs of the community. One of the things that I mentioned in our meetings is that we only have one time to get this right, and we cannot do a do-over. So we need the input of the community because this is something that happened to our city, and all of us are affected by this in one way or another. So we do need your input. We need your support in this. So when we do have our community meetings, please come out and share with us your concerns, your ideas. I want to state that we do not have a site selected. We do not have a site selected. We do not have a picture of a memorial, but we're working on that, and the input from that will come from our community, from each and every one of you. So with that being said, we want to thank you, and again, thank you for allowing me to help chair this responsibility. We will have our first community meeting on June the 13th at the Mikowski School, and that information will also be on our website, 514memorial.com. So please go to the website. There's information that will be on there that will help address any of the needs and concerns regarding the commission. And right now, with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Mo Sandu.
Thank you, Reverend Blue. Good morning. First, I want to thank our mayor, Mayor Brown, who has done an incredible job steering this community after the tragedy. You know, a lot of what happens in a lot of places after a tragedy is what the leadership does. And in Buffalo, we have incredible leadership, and that's thanks to Mayor Brown. So Mayor, thank you for the work that you've done to steer our community through the painful day of 5/14. On behalf of Governor Kathy Hochul, I would like to extend her appreciation to Dr. Reverend Mark Blue and the Commission for doing the incredible work that they're doing to create this commission that is tasked with coming up with what a memorial should look like. The commission is going to be working on creating a memorial that does much more than mark and remember the infamous date of the mass shooting. With the help and support of the entire community, we will create a memorial that first and foremost honor the dead. A memorial that accurately places the horrific event in the history of Buffalo. A memorial that shines a light on a community that has shown itself to be courageous, resilient, and compassionate. A memorial that says, we will never forget. Reverend Blue said, the commission has been tasked with developing and implementing a plan to build a physical memorial in East Buffalo. We have to do it, and we have to do it right, and we only get one chance to do that. This is a very difficult job because we want to get it right and want the survivors to be heard and respected throughout the entire process. Their grief is indescribable. Their families have been ripped apart, and they have been through a lot. So maybe in a small way, this memorial will send a message of love from the community to everyone who was left devastated by the senseless act of violence that occurred on May 14. We have a solemn obligation to make sure that we work hard to create a better and safer East Buffalo for all. Following the Tops massacre, Governor Hochul announced that the state would commit $50 million to targeted investments as part of the state's ongoing efforts to address the immediate needs of the community. The process of distributing those funds in an impactful way are underway. Homeowners are getting the support that they need to make long-needed and necessary repairs. Businesses are making upgrades to ensure a brighter future, and residents are receiving the financial assistance they need as they apply for funding to be able to purchase mortgages and become first-time homeowners. New York State will continue to coordinate with the City of Buffalo, philanthropic and business entities in our city, and grassroots leaders to address long-term needs in the community. So Governor Hochul recognizes tragedies such as this are not inevitable. We as a city, we must fight for change to spare others of the pain that we feel in Buffalo. So in our grief, let us find a graceful and thoughtful way to memorialize our friends, neighbors, and family members. And in doing so, let us truly honor those 10 shining stars and show that we care enough to redouble our efforts in our community to make sure that this memorial honors them in a respectful way. Thank you.
Thank you, Mo Sumbundu, for representing Governor Hochul and being the liaison to the 514 Memorial Commission. We appreciate all of the governor's outreach and support in so many ways that we have seen, but also in many ways that many in the public have not seen. The governor has really been here to support this community in incredible ways. Again, I want to thank Reverend Mark E. Blue, for serving as chair of the commission, and Eunice Lewin for serving as co-chair of the Remembrance Weekend. Before I open up to the media for your questions, I also want to recognize Reverend Rochelle Robinson, who is on the Memorial Weekend committee. I want to thank her for the work that she is doing on the Sunday event, the healing service, Sunday, May 6th. Want to also recognize Carrie A. Stevens, who is representing Matt Enstis, the president of the Buffalo Niagara Medical Campus. Obviously, our first event will be located at Roswell Auditorium on the campus of the Buffalo Medical Campus, and that event is filling up very fast. It is open to the public, and we want anyone who would like to be there for the panel discussion Beyond Hate to join us. And then I want to thank James Morrell, the Director of Surface Planning for the NFTA, for being here representing Kim Minkle, the President of the NFTA. With that, I will open up to questions that the members of the media have.
I would just ask that so we don't crisscross, let's start with this coming weekend and the Remembrance events, and then we'll go to the campus, so we're not crisscross. So we'll start with the weekend events.
Will everyone be in person, or is there anything on Zoom? If it's all in person, all the panelists will be there?
So all of the panelists will be here in person. The panel discussion will also be live streamed. So those who are not able to attend the panel discussion in person will have the opportunity to hear that very powerful discussion on the topic of Beyond Hate.
Do you need the media to do anything ahead of time as far as the panel discussion goes for arrival or anything like that?
I'm sorry, would you repeat that?
Do you know if you need the media to do anything ahead of that panel discussion to reserve a spot or anything, or will there be space for media?
Oh yeah, there will absolutely be space for media at all of the events that we are holding. So no need to request reserve spaces. There will be space for media.
Mayor, you had mentioned, this community's still hurting in so many ways, right? And folks are in different levels of that grief.
Yes.
Broadly, and the title is on this weekend, in terms of hope and healing. What are you hoping our community takes
Well,
from these events a year later?
we want the community to know that they are not forgotten, that what happened here is not forgotten at any level. In fact, I've had the opportunity to be with President Biden and Vice President Harris several times. They have continued to talk about what happened here in Buffalo. In fact, Vice President Kamala Harris has taped a special message for the K through 12 activities. So we thank them for that. We also want the community to know that we have to continue to hold together, to lift each other up. There are a lot of resources that will be coming to this community from the city government, the state government, the federal government, philanthropy. We want to make sure that that money is used wisely, strategically, to improve the lives of people living in East Buffalo, to improve black and brown lives, and that is a major focus of what we're doing. And then there are larger messages that are important to the families of those whose lives were taken. Ending white supremacy, ending different forms of hate, which was central to what happened here in Buffalo, racial hatred. Social media being reined in so people can't be radicalized or message of hate can't be spread on social media, and also sensible gun reform. Already, sadly, in our country, there have been more than 200 mass shootings. It seems like they're occurring almost every day now. There have been more mass shootings this year than there are days in the year. So this problem isn't getting better, it's getting worse. So these are some of the things that we want to come out of this weekend.
Mayor, will any of the victims' families, are they participating? What's been their input in this? Will they have a role?
There's been input from the families of those whose lives were taken. We have listened to them. We've designed these activities and events in such a way that observe the sensitivity of how the families are feeling. And there is space for family members to participate in all of these events in the ways that they want to participate.
And what about security for the weekend? You are aware that people are still on edge.
Yes.
So will security be heightened around the city of Buffalo this weekend?
Security will absolutely be heightened with every special event that we do in the city of Buffalo. There is a specific security plan. Given the nature of this event and what happened in our community on 5/14, there is going to be a very comprehensive security plan. So it will be heightened in the community, and it will be high at all of these events to ensure people's comfort and safety.
Mayor, you mentioned resources down the line to try and enhance the lives of those in East Buffalo. We spoke with 5 family members of victims last night and asked them what has changed on Jefferson Avenue in East Buffalo in the last year, and each of them said nothing. What would you point to in terms of progress that you've seen over the last year first? And secondly, you mentioned resources. What can they look forward to perhaps come?
So, you know, the question about what has happened on Jefferson Avenue in less than a year is kind of a difficult question because we haven't even, since the mass shooting, we haven't even gotten to the construction season yet. So it's impossible to see major changes taking place physically before the construction season even starts. So we've got to just think about the timing of how things work when we think about some of these questions that we have. Also, as Mosum Bundu mentioned for Governor Hochul, $50 million has been allocated for East Buffalo. Some of that money for home repair. Again, not in the season for home repair. So we just went through a historic November storm, a once-in-a-generation December blizzard, so home repair could not take place then. In a few weeks, people will start to see work being done on Jefferson Avenue and in and around that neighborhood. There are also some larger projects that have been mentioned, infrastructure projects. Well, working with Governor Hochul and others, we've been pushing to make sure that as that money comes into East Buffalo, that black and brown people are working on the infrastructure projects, that black businesses are working on the infrastructure projects. Mo mentioned money going to businesses in East Buffalo so that they can strengthen their businesses and provide better services. So in 2 years, in 3 years, in 4 years, people will see dramatic differences. But it's also resources that will be available for the education of children. One of the things that my grandfather used to say when I was growing up as a child to my sister and I is that education is the great equalizer. So we talk about inequity, inequality. If young people get a good education, their chances of doing better economically and otherwise increase exponentially. So there are things that will change based on government investment. There are things that will change based on people's investment in themselves. So again, I grew up in a household where people weren't looking for other people to do something for them. They were looking for the opportunity to do for themselves. So remove the discrimination, remove the barriers to being able to work, to being able to earn, and you'll see me doing a lot of things. You'll see members of that community doing a lot of things for themselves.
Anyone else? You all good? Anything on the commission?
Can you get that website again, just with the, where people can find all the information?
514memorial.com.
And you said that's gonna have all the dates for public hearings and everything else. What more can you tell us about it?
It will have our mission statement on there. It will have the dates for our upcoming public meetings. It's still in work, but it will be updated on a regular basis to make sure all the information is not only accurate, but is accessible.
Is there a timeline in terms of when you plan on having some sort of preliminary action towards, having the site picked out and construction to start for the site and for site to be finished up?
Well, one of the things that we did do is looking at what others have done, and it's not only time-consuming, but we're appreciative for the work they've done, so we don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can't put a timeline on this particular project. We have a desired timeline, but we want to make sure we do it right. And again, this is the first time we've ever done this. So patience is part of the key that we need to have, but we want community input to help drive that as well.
Mayor, one final line.
Just want to remind everyone that the events for the 514 Memorial Weekend are completely free and completely open to the public.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.